In the wake of Sean Combs' arrest and indictment on federal charges, we are once again revisiting the case of Kim Porter. There is a renewed interest in her time with the rapper, and more specifically, her death. We're going to sit down with the author of a new book that is topping the charts on Amazon, and he claims this book may actually be the unfinished memoir from Porter herself. But is that true? Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law&Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. With the arrest and indictment of rapper, producer, media mogul Sean Diddy Combs on federal racketeering and sex trafficking charges, there has been a renewed interest in all aspects of his life. That is not surprising. But you might be surprised to hear that this is a renewed interest now in Kim Porter. This is Combs' ex-girlfriend, who tragically died in her Los Angeles home back in November of 2018. Officers reportedly found the 47-year-old unresponsive. She was pronounced dead. Initially, an autopsy was performed on Porter the next day, and according to the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's coroner's office, the cause of death was deferred pending additional tests, but then you fast forward to January 2019, and the office concluded that she died of lobar pneumonia. The manner of death was listed as natural. This is opposed to something like homicide, and she had apparently gone into cardiac arrest. Now, it was reported that at that time she had been battling flu-like symptoms in the days leading up to her death, and that her water bottles and sports drinks and Pedialyte were all in her bedroom. Days after her death, Sean Combs commented publicly about Porter, writing on Instagram, "For the last 3 days, I've been trying to wake up out of this nightmare, but I haven't. I don't know what I'm going to do without you, baby. I miss you so much. Today I'm going to pay tribute to you. I'm going to try and find the words to explain our unexplainable relationship. We were more than best friends. We were more than soulmates. We were some other S. And I miss you so much. Super Black Love." Now, Combs would reportedly tell Essence magazine the following year that one night I was checking on her and she was like, "Puffy, take care of my babies." She actually said that to me before she died. Now, during her funeral, which was out in her hometown in Georgia, Combs delivered a eulogy talking about the love that he has for Porter, how close he was with her, how she will always be with him, how she was somebody that was sent to help him in life. And he ended by saying, quote, "I just want to say to my kids, Justin, Christian, Delilah, Jesse, Chance, and the other man in the house, Quincy, your mother instilled in me this, and I pledge in front of everybody right now that I will always be there for you." And Combs said, and the audience was applauding when he said this, "I will always take care of you." On the 2-year anniversary of her death, Combs posted on Instagram photos of Kim Porter with the caption, "Queen Kim Porter, irreplaceable, love you forever," with the heart emoji. The following month, he posted a tribute for her for what would have been her 50th birthday. In 2022, after accepting the Lifetime Achievement Award at the BET Awards, Combs said, "I just miss Kim, y'all. I just want to say thank you to Kim." And then in 2023, Combs claimed that Porter was the inspiration behind his album, the Love Album, Off the Grid, even dedicated a song to her. He was quoted as saying, "I always said that I can't make a hit record unless my heart is broken. It's just like a vulnerable state that you're in. When I lost Kim, it broke my heart forever." And on what would have been her 53rd birthday in December of 2023, Combs posted on Instagram, "We miss you so much, Kim. Happy birthday, beautiful. Love forever." Now, despite all of this, there have been rumors. There have been unsubstantiated rumors, and I want to be clear about that there is more to Porter's death. And to kind of give you a little bit of a better understanding of that, I want to quickly go over the life of Combs and Porter together. So she and Combs, they first started dating in the 1990s. They had an on-again, off-again relationship. They had a son together, Christian. She had her first son, named Quincy Brown, who I mentioned before, whom she shared with music producer Albie Shore. But Diddy actually considers Quincy as his own and has raised him since a young age. Combs, Porter, they broke up in 1999, the year after Christian was born. They ended up having a really nasty court battle over custody. But then Combs and Porter, they reconcile. They get back together in 2003. But then you fast forward 3 years to 2006, and the couple, they welcome their twin daughters, Delilah Starr and Jesse James. But then Combs reportedly cheated on Kim Porter. He was expecting a child with a woman named Sarah Chapman in 2006. This is all while Porter was pregnant. So then less than a year later, in 2007, the couple ended their relationship officially the last time. But by all accounts, Porter and Combs, they seem to remain close. They seem to remain on good terms as parents until her death. But as I said, there were these theories that popped up and continue to pop up, particularly on Reddit, about Porter's real cause of death. One of those people who seem to believe that there's more to the story is who I mentioned before, Albie Shore, Porter's ex. His real name is Albert Joseph Brown. And after Combs' arrest, Brown posted on Instagram, quote, "In a nutshell, Kimberly was allegedly taken from us because she was set on course to accomplish what Mrs. Cassie Ventura did by igniting the bonfire, which brings us here today." Now, Ventura, of course, is Combs' ex-girlfriend who filed the initial sexual assault, sex trafficking lawsuit against him last year, and that spiraled into multiple other lawsuits that have hit the rapper, and this, of course, culminated in these federal charges that he now faces. But Brown writes, quote, "I am writing this post to formally request an investigation into an entire group of individuals who worked at or around the residence of Miss Kimberly Porter." And then he called her death a tragic murder. Hey, by the way, I got to say, really appreciate you guys coming to us for our Sean Combs coverage. Thank you so much. And look, we plan to continue to do this. We plan to continue to bring you these stories. And one of the reasons we're able to do that is because of the amazing support we get from our sponsors. And that includes Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Look, if you're injured, knowing your legal rights and whether you can be compensated is so important. And that's where they come in. They have an army of over 1,000 attorneys who will fight for what you deserve. Amazing track record. In the past few months, Morgan & Morgan won verdicts of $12 million in Florida, $26 million in Philadelphia, $6.8 million in New York. And mind you, these are all considerably higher than the highest insurance offers in these cases. So seeing if you have a case, by the way, super easy, can be done in 8 clicks or less. The fee, absolutely free unless you win. They're only getting paid if you get paid. So if you're injured, you can easily start a claim at forthepeople.com/LC Sidebar, or you can click the link in the description and pinned in the comments. Now, we actually interviewed forensic death investigator from Jacksonville State University, Joseph Scott Morgan, about this, about whether there is anything to indicate that she died from something other than pneumonia. Take a listen.
LA County, their medical examiner coroner is top flight, when it comes to this sort of thing, doing these assessments. So they're going to examine the eyes very carefully, looking for petechiae, and then, any signs of trauma externally that you can appreciate. Well, that's not where it ends. And you have to understand this. She would have been removed, which she was, from that scene and taken to the ME's office in LA County, and this examination would have been performed. They're looking at everything here, Jesse. So it's really hard. It would be hard for me to believe that there's anything nefarious going on that the ME did not pick up on.
A, is there any drug that can mimic the symptoms of pneumonia and kill somebody to make it look like it's pneumonia? And B, is it a substance that wouldn't be detected in the body if you do a screening?
Wow. Okay. One of the things that's commonly put forth, relative to lung issues and death, particularly when you're talking about any kind of foreign agent, my default position is always something like an opiate. So if you're talking about, and we see this a lot with heroin ODs, for instance, and morphine too, the lungs become highly congested, Jesse. And but you won't have. What will be different is, and this is kind of graphic, but you don't have this kind of pussy exudate coming from the lungs like you do with a pneumonia. So the doctor right off the top would be able to kind of rule that out. The lungs do get heavy with opiate overdoses, but that's something that's right at the top of the list on for what's referred to as a standard panel. They're going to screen for all of those. I can't imagine under any circumstances that there is something out there that would mask pneumonia.
So with all of that in mind, now a new book has come out. This self-published book on Amazon entitled Kim's Lost Words, A Journey for Justice from the Other Side. And it is doing incredibly well on Amazon. It is topping a lot of charts. It's allegedly a memoir from Porter herself detailing her relationship with Combs. But the thing about it is it reportedly contains typos, shocking claims, inaccurate statements. And with that in mind, Kim Porter's children have released a statement. So this is from Quincy Brown, Christian, Jesse, Delilah Combs. They wrote in a joint statement. They posted it on Instagram Tuesday night. I want to read it for you. We have seen so many hurtful and false rumors circulating about our parents, Kim Porter and Sean Combs' relationship, as well as about our mom's tragic passing, that we feel the need to speak out. Claims that our mom wrote a book are simply untrue. She did not, and anyone claiming to have a manuscript is misrepresenting themselves. Additionally, please understand that any so-called friend speaking on behalf of our mom or her family is not a friend, nor do they have her best interest at heart. Our lives were shattered when we lost our mother. She was our world, and nothing has been the same since she passed. While it has been incredibly difficult to reconcile how she could be taken from us too soon, the cause of her death has long been established. There was no foul play. Grief is a lifelong process, and we ask that everyone respect our request for peace as we continue to cope with her loss every day. We are deeply saddened that the world has made a spectacle of what has been the most tragic event of our lives. Our mother should be remembered for the beautiful, strong, kind, and loving woman she was. Her memory should not be tainted by horrific conspiracy theories. We ask that everyone please respect our mother, Kim Porter, and hold her legacy in high regard so that she may rest in peace. It's what she deserves. We love you and miss you, Mommy. Quincy, Christian, Jesse, and Delilah. And just recently, even Combs authorized his attorney Erica Wolf to release a statement on his behalf regarding this new book, stating the Kim Porter memoir is fake. It is also offensive, a shameless attempt to profit from tragedy. Chris Todd, the author, has no respect for Miss Porter or her family, who deserve better. Unlike the fabrications in his sickening memoir, it is an established fact that Miss Porter died of natural causes. May she rest in peace. Now, when we say memoir, to be clear, there is no information verifying that Porter actually authorized these writings or authorized a book to be written by her at any point in time. Even the author, Chris Todd, can't confirm whether these are actually Porter's words or not, but he believes it's true, claiming that Porter herself created the information on a flash drive, which Todd says she gave to friends prior to her death. Again, her family and loved ones have denied this, but either way. So with that in mind, I sat down with this author, and he goes by the name Chris Todd, and he published this book under the pseudonym Jamal T. Millwood, seemingly in reference to a conspiracy regarding Tupac Shakur's death. So look, with all that in mind, I'm going to play you portions of this interview, and you can make your own judgments about what to take away from this. All right, Chris, thank you so much for coming on here on Sidebar. Happy to have you. So first, for anybody knows, how did you come about the Kim Porter story? How did you get these materials? How did you get involved in this?
Yeah, it's been a crazy journey. I appreciate you having me on today. Thank you so much. About 6 to 8 months ago, I found out through another person, kind of like a manager of mine, that there was possibly Kim Porter's flash drive. Also, there was talk of a iCloud or cloud and a password and things that were left behind by Kim Porter. At first, I didn't really know what to believe. Obviously, I know a lot about the story. And then through about a month or two, I got to personally meet somebody very close to these sources, let's say. Okay, there's a couple people involved. It's not just one person. And there was a celebrity source involved that was very close to Kim and Diddy. And so I kind of perked up a little bit, like, okay, I did a lot of research about the circles, and I was like, this could be true. This could be real. So I went down the rabbit hole and I investigated it to the best of my ability, quickly, as fast as I could. This is a big story. It's moving 1,000 miles an hour right now. And I do believe what I was given is real.
Can you share with us where this hard drive came from, how it was found, this flash drive, I should say? Where was it found? Or it just came out of...
Flash drive?
Yeah, where did it come from?
This flash drive was held onto for 5 years. This flash drive is from Kim Porter.
Any reason why it was held onto? I know you're not going to reveal the name of your source or where you got it from, but why? Can you tell us why it was held onto for so long?
I think these people were afraid.
Because what's the main theme? What's the main theme here?
In the book, or in the we're talking about the book, or are we talking about?
Yeah, what's the main theme of the book, and also your interpretation of why it was held onto? You said there was a concern there. Well, what's the main theme?
Through our PIs right now, We do have some evidence that Kim Porter may have been poisoned and murdered.
And we actually, before you came on, we did an earlier Sidebar episode where we had an expert on who said that it would be difficult to find a poison that would mask the symptoms of lobar pneumonia, that it wouldn't make sense to him that the findings from the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office would be incorrect. They're a very thorough group. Why would he be wrong?
I'm not saying he's wrong, but we need to listen to the people that are online, even these online sleuths, the bloggers. A lot of information comes out from this kind of community. And there's talk of toxins being in her system at first. It was called deferred at first, then it was changed.
But how do you separate people who always have conspiracy theories and rumors versus legitimate facts? I mean, you believe that there's something here. You said you did your independent research. How can you tell our viewers and our listeners that there's something more here legitimately and not just listening to the noise out there?
I'm really more focused on the book right now and the memoir. As for investigating, doing the autopsy, looking at the autopsy close,
okay,
I'm open to that. Yeah, but mainly I'm focused on the memoir.
So let's talk about this. How do you know for sure it's her words? It's a memoir from her, because it's in typewritten, right? You would say that it was from a computer. How do you know it's from her?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I'm getting that asked all the time. I work a lot of cases. Okay, I claim to have solved the two most famous cold cases in history. Okay, I like to think I'm good at what I do. So when they came to me, and when I work with any whistleblower or source, I don't always believe them. I don't believe everything they say. I put them through my test, by my feel, my spirituality, forensics. There's a lot of things that I do. Dealing with the sources and the people that I've contacted closely, obviously it's a dark story. It's dangerous. I'm familiar with this. Whistleblowers and sources don't always tell you everything. They don't show you metadata. They don't show you things that are going to trace it directly to them. So, like I said in the Rolling Stone article and another one that's coming out today or tomorrow, if you put my feet to the fire and God asks me life or death, do you know it's 100% her flash drive? No, I do not. But based on my feel, I prayed on it and I felt I was to take a leap of faith. So I came forward with it.
Some people would say, why publish it if you're not 100% sure?
Well, I also am an investigative producer, an author. I'm a storyteller. A lot of my fans know me very well. And the media and Hollywood, a lot of times, they don't want the truth. So they do projects and stories and unscripted and scripted that are not always completely 100% true. I'm no different than them. I would like to turn this book into a movie or a series, and we're shopping that right now.
What, from reading these pages, what is your overall takeaway? If this is in fact Kim Porter's memoir, what is your takeaway from it?
It's disturbing. It's dark. It's sad. This is an abused woman telling her story. When I first read the whole thing, I only had a couple pages at first. Now, as for the tapes, I've been told that I can have access to the tapes.
What are the tapes? First, start there. What tapes are you talking about?
The big ones.
You're talking about sex tapes.
Yeah, but with very famous people.
Okay, so talk to us about what you were told about the tapes.
That if I pass the test, they trust me, I will be the one to do it.
Who's they?
The sources and the people around the community of Kim and Diddy.
And with all due respect, why wouldn't they bring that information to law enforcement? Why wouldn't they just drop it in, CNN's or ABC or any other news outlet's mailbox? Why come to you as opposed to law enforcement or another media organization?
If one of the people are underage in the sex tape, I have to, per my attorney, go to the FBI. I'm not going to comment right now if I'm in possession of the tapes or not, per my lawyer. So, but to answer your question, these people are scared. And what you're saying, like, well, if they just dropped it off at CNN or they just emailed it, that's not the appropriate way to do this.
Okay. Well, I mean, look, you're in a very interesting position right now, and clearly a lot of people are very interested in what you've presented. But I mentioned this before, I'm going to mention this again. As you know, this has been met with criticism. Porter's family and friends say this memoir is a fake. Al B. Shore says it's fabricated, that it's offensive. Reportedly also came out and said, quote, a significant suit headed right for the heads of the responsible parties who dragged my name into this. Porter's friends, Kimora Lee Simmons, LaWanda Lane, told Rolling Stone that they don't know you at all. Lane said every page in that book is false, that Porter wouldn't write a memoir, that she would never write a memoir, that she liked her life to be private. Rolling Stone also reported that a source close to the Combs family says the family is exploring all of their options and saying, quote, the baseless pages in the book not only misrepresent Miss Porter's lived experience and legacy, but also continue to cause unnecessary distress to her loved ones. And her children came out with a statement today on Instagram, which I read before. What's your reaction to all that?
We did $1 million in sales in 12 days. The people want the truth. There's people writing me from all over the world, thanking me. What you just said, I know I'm still reading this stuff. I can't even keep up with it right now. I've actually have to hire people to read the stuff. We have to think about who these people are talking about. They're possibly talking about the devil. So if they say it's not real, remember who's saying that. Okay? A lot of people believe it's real. A lot of African Americans believe it's real. They're telling me, they're calling me. I'm talking to all the bloggers and podcasters because I'm an open book. I talk to the little people. So my point is, I still am assessing what's being said by everybody close. I get it. But this is what happens just like on my other cases. Yeah, they said they didn't do it too. And it turned out to be I was right. So like I said, this is going to play out. I can't say I'm 100% right this second, but I'm not pulling that book down. Under my First Amendment, my civil rights, I'm not pulling it down.
Are you prepared to potentially be sued over this?
Absolutely, I'm already prepared. And also, let's remember, Amazon, Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post. Okay? I'm sure he's for freedom of speech and also some form of free press. I've been blocked and censored by the media for years, and I'm not going to bring it up. Everyone can do their own homework. It's not happening to me anymore.
So there was a quote from you in that Rolling Stone article where you say, if I'm so hot and my story and project's #1 on Amazon, where is everybody? Where's my agent? Where's CIA? The people I called for 12 years. I'm trying to explain to you, this is not about Kim Porter. It's about Chris Todd. And I wonder if somebody could interpret that statement and say, you know, he's taking this and he's saying whatever he needs to say for fame and fortune. It's not about getting the real message out there. It's not about getting Kim Porter's story out there. It's about Chris Todd. What would your response be to that?
You know, I worked really hard to get to this point. And the other case that I did recently, that was supposed to happen like this. That was supposed to go viral, and it didn't. And that's up to God. I don't control that. Obviously, we're here at this moment, and it's probably the biggest scandal story in America right now. I feel that I just work hard, keep my heart and mind open, and I'm kind of guided spiritually. And I will say this, and I don't know how this will come off to people. I have many cases and many victims. My clients are mostly murdered victims or deceased victims. I am the voice of the voiceless. Right? Now, what I meant by saying well, that's not about Kim so much, it's about Chris Todd. That's to keep a little bit of a buffer for her. Okay? So that everyone's not so focused. And I know also the sources, they know that too. And I'm not stupid. Are these sources playing me a little bit? Maybe, but that's okay. If I have to go through some pain and hardship, if I have to go to court, it's not going to be my first time in court. And I put out a message to some of the people to get to the lawyers, be careful. Because remember, you're talking about Kim. It turns out that it's Kim's typos and they're her lies. Remember, you're talking about abused women.
And would you be willing to submit these papers to an independent auditor of some kind or an independent agency to verify that it's, her work? I don't know how they would be able to do it, but because it's not handwritten. But if there was a mechanism in place to independently verify it, would you do that?
I have some things I haven't released yet that can show very much more that this is really hers. I have to do it piece by piece. And also the sources are testing me a little, and they're trying to, we all agreed that we need to see what happens when the memoir comes out first. I have 2 pages from that flash drive that are endearing, they're heartfelt, they're actually done by someone else wanting to help Kim. And that really explains more of why this is happening, why they waited all these years, why they're using me. I mean, they're calling me a culture vulture and a parasite and a colonizer. I get it. I'm just telling you right now, God brought me to her, or God brought her to me. I'm sorry that I'm white.
Let me ask you this. So the timing of this, Sean Combs was arrested and indicted last week. The book then comes out. Well, actually, that's not true. The book has been out for how long?
This is what we're going to talk about, and this is going to be fascinating to you. And I also want you to bring up the name Jamal T. Millwood.
Putting that to the side for a second, I wanted to ask you this.
Okay, the book was published September 6th.
Okay, the book was published September 6th.
Sean Combs was arrested later. He wasn't,
yeah.
I didn't know he was going to be arrested. That's what people are trying, they're confused about. They're thinking Diddy did this. And they're saying, well, I didn't have some inside source that he's going to be arrested. I'm not the FBI.
Right.
CIA agent. Okay. So I took a leap of faith. Now, at that point, when it started to come out, it was kind of quiet until they did an article about me, which I'm grateful for. Then things exploded quickly. Okay. I would have put my name on the book if Sean Combs was actually in a jail cell. He wasn't. Okay. So it's cryptic. And that's why the book says for Kimberly Porter, not by. I can't say by her. I have some issues legally with that. So my point is, September 6th, it comes out. It's a leap of faith. It catches fire. He goes, okay, cool. I didn't know he was going to be arrested. So the timing, maybe there's some more spiritual element involved here.
Has law enforcement gotten in touch with you after this book became so public? The book became published and these allegations came out, or not even allegations, the words that you published. Has the law enforcement reached out to you?
I cannot comment on that.
Okay. So, Chris, before we finish up, what do you want people to take away from this? And again, because you're in this very interesting position, what are you hoping people take away from this, and what can they expect within the next 6 months?
I want people to hear and feel Kim's voice. So that I didn't write that book. None of it. I edited some of it. I moved some formatting around to help her punch at the end of the chapters. I put the disclaimer in. I X'd out certain people. They didn't want me to. They wanted to burn the forest down. I X'd out a couple people and situations, and I removed the photos also from the book. I am going to release the photos probably today. As to what happens.
What photos? What photos do you mean?
There's photos in there that no one's ever seen that are from the flash drive.
Can you give us any clue about what those are?
I released the Kim Porter abuse photo, we call it, where I had sent it to reporters with blue on her face, like blurred out. That was released by the Daily Mail. You can see it there. No one has that photo. No one ever saw it. They only have a one-time use for it. So I'm going to give that possibly to other outlets. I have other photos with Sean Diddy Combs with famous music executives. I have them doing some things. There's no nudity. It's not sexual. What I'm saying is they're pictures of him that tell a story. And so nobody ever saw these pictures. So the sources wanted me to reveal them, but I wanted just Kim's voice to be heard first. and just for her to talk to the audience. But now that, the lawyer for Sean Combs, one of them, is using words against me and saying things, I'm now going to start releasing things. It's my turn to fight back.
Let me just end on this. In terms of your research into Kim Porter, you said you looked into this. I'm sure you got a great understanding of who she is. You hear her family saying she was a private person, would never write a memoir. Do you disagree with that, in the sense that maybe whatever was handed to you was written by somebody else to get this narrative out? So back to the overall question of how you think this comes from Kim Porter. Do you think she really was the kind of person that would write something like this to get it out there, or not?
I do. And I've dealt with a lot of victims on cases, and if her death had mysterious circumstances and she's coughing up blood at her Toluca Lake house, and there's some suspicious things about her body being moved and where the evidence is, look at what she's saying that he did to her. Okay, he's threatened her many times. So, and now the thing too, look, if I was saying this about some kind of halfway criminal, we're talking about Sean Combs. Think about that. So I'm all for it. I will fight for her. And if somebody proves to me that it's fake, albeit, prove it.
All right. Chris Todd, thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jesse.
All right. So there you have it. Again, take away from that what you will. We'll continue to follow more updates in the Sean Combs saga. That's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jesse Weber. I'll speak to you next time.